Have you met some customers? Have you met some clients? Some are so unruly behaved, some are so uncouth. There are some that you meet them, they'll ruin your mood, they'll transfer aggressions on you, their frustrations and all that. Is it possible to truly be just friends with an ex? Is it possible to truly be just friends with an ex? So hello beautiful people, welcome back to the channel and welcome if today is the first time seeing this face. My name is Luchijournal and this is Luchijournal. So today we'll be doing something entirely new. We're bringing in a new segment to this channel which is about asking for a friend. So this is a segment where we'll be diving deep into questions, those questions that you need maybe another person's opinion to. We'll be answering all of those questions and also sharing our perspective and thoughts on those questions. Remember, this is a community where it is okay to just air your view, it is okay to share your opinion, it is okay to share your thoughts and learn. So in this segment we're tackling a lot of thought-provoking questions, those questions that a lot of people sweep under the carpet. We are not going to be sweeping it under the carpet in this channel. We're going to be talking about it, learning from it, and also moving forward, growing from it. Also a form of self-development and improvements. So you learn from other people's experience while also building your life instead of repeating the same mistakes or repeating the same pattern of thought that they did. So without much further ado, let's just dive right into the question. If you see me looking away, I'm making use of another screen where I used to get some of those questions that we'll be answering today, so just stay with me. Okay, so the first question is remember, I am reading out these questions, all right? Is it possible to truly be just friends with an ex? Is it possible to truly be just friends with an ex? So if I am to answer that question, it is not a yes or no answer per se. It depends on the person. I'm not really the type of person that believes in shutting doors at people or burning bridges, right? But there are some times that the situation might just be risky and you just have to do what you have to do, right? So in this scenario, I'm going to say it depends on you and your ex, right? If you guys notice that you have not healed properly, if you notice that your feelings are still lingering, disclaimer though, I am not a relationship expert, but this is just me sharing my opinion, sharing my 1 cent, right? So if you notice feeling, if you notice you have a romantic feeling, you still feel something for this person, I would advise that you sever the relationship. I would suggest that you separate, that you create some distance, take some time out to heal, right? So maybe later on in future, if you guys cross contacts, that will be fine, but ensure that you don't leave on a bad terms. I usually tell people that no matter what went wrong in any relationship, always ensure that you don't leave any relationship on a bad terms, because you don't know what tomorrow holds, right? So just speak it out with the person, discuss it with the person. Okay, so we are going through this phase, it is not good for us to stay together, let's just take some time out and go our separate ways to just heal, right, and move on. So making this communication clear will be more easier on the both of you to know if you need to move on from the person or if you can just keep it open for relationship to spring forward. Because I've had stories of people that didn't heal properly from their exes, and they, instead of them to move on, they became stuck or they went back knowing that it wasn't meant to be. While I've also heard stories of people that maybe went separate ways with their exes and later on in future they had a business deal, right? So it depends on who this person is and it depends on the state at which you guys broke the relationship, right? So don't lie to yourself, because I believe that even if you're lying to every other person, you can never lie to yourself. You know how you feel about this, right? If you still feel like there is some form of care or concern or feelings lingering, you know the truth. You can't be at close in a relationship. You can't be friends with this person. I'm not saying you should be enemies, just stay at an arm's stretch, just give a distance, heal, and if anything happens in the future, that will be fine. But if you guys ended on a good term and you realize that you're both clear, you've discussed maturely, and there is no lingering feelings, then definitely you can be friends. You can be friends, but don't tempt yourself. Ensure that the boundaries are being maintained and sustained, so you don't end up doing things that you're not meant to do. So it depends on the state of the relationship, right? It depends on the state of the heart of the both of you. So it's not necessarily a yes or a no answer. But most times I would say, take some space away from this relationship, take some time out from this, and just heal first. When you heal and he heals also, or she heals also, then you guys will know whether you are meant to come back together or not, as friends, right, or acquaintance, as the case may be. The next question is, what is the difference between a secret and a lie in a relationship? Just so you know, these questions won't just be about relationship, which will cut across life generally, right? So let's just tackle this one to begin with. Okay, yeah, I got a question. What's the difference between a secret and a lie in a relationship? So I won't just be answering this question based off of like romantic relationship. It could be friendships, right? It could be friendship as well. So first we need to break down the visible obvious word there, which is secret, and the lie, right? So secret can be an omission of information, or an information that you're keeping there to yourself that you're not giving out, right? So you're keeping this information to yourself, you're not giving out to anybody. That's what secret is. White lie is when you say something that is not the truth deliberately, either to deceive people or to mislead them. That is what lie is. Whether the white lie, the brown lie, whatever lie it is the lie, right? Unlike secrets, where you intentionally or unintentionally keep an information, you withhold an information to yourself. So going back to the question which says, what's the difference between a secret and a lie? Literally, secret is when you withhold an information to yourself, right, that you're not giving out. White lie is when you are saying something that is not the truth to deceive or mislead people. The secret might not necessarily be to mislead people. It could be because you're keeping it to either protect yourself or protect the person that you're keeping the secret from, right? But generally, when it comes to revealing secrets in relationship, whether friendship or otherwise, you just have to know who you're revealing these things to, because it is not everybody that can take some height of secret or some depth of secret, right? So it depends on the kind of secret you're trying to reveal or you're trying to protect. If after being in a relationship or friendship with whoever the person is, and you realize that, okay, this person has earned some form of trust or shown some form of loyalty, and I can entrust the person with this secret, then fine, well and good, you should inform or give the person access to your secret, right? When you realize that this person hasn't earned it, or this person can't be trusted with access to your secret, I would suggest you keep your secret to yourself, as far as it is not going to hurt the other person. If your secret is not going to hurt anybody, I would suggest you keep your secret to yourself, right? Unlike when you lie for me, I feel like is a killer of trust and everything good in a relationship. Whether you're lying, whether it's the white lie or not, right? If when asked or when faced to say the truth, I would prefer that you say the truth always, right? But if maybe the truth is something that is going to hurt someone, how about you put it in a way that everybody will be on a safe space? But lying eventually will do no good, because one thing about lying is that no matter how much you lie, you keep lying to cover the lie. So you are building a mountain top of lies, and one day it's going to erupt and the truth will come out. And when that happens, you lose your integrity, you lose your trust. So how about you say the truth no matter how painful it is, right? So lying is a no-no for me in any relationship, in any partnership, in any business deal, in any friendship. But keeping secrets can happen once in a while, right? Because most times the secret can be to your own benefit. If it is a secret that the other person needs to know for their own benefit or for the benefit of any business deal or anything you're going into, I suggest you share that secret, right? But if it is a secret that when you keep it, it will hurt no one, then you can keep your secret. Because these days, to entrust people in secret, one thing about secrets is that once you share it, it will no longer be a secret, and it is there in the open. You can't take it back. So ensure that you think properly before giving out your secret. Anyhow, it is called a secret for a reason. All right. So moving on to the next question. This one says, should you tell your best friend if you think their partner is cheating? This question is kind of dicey, because to some people, they don't like third parties coming into their relationships. If you're being honest with yourself, there are some friends that don't really mean well, so they might just cook up stories about your partner to ruin your relationship. So I guess that's why some people have the opinion that when you hear this, that you shouldn't bring any gist, negative news or gist about their partner, because they'll say that either you're beefing them or you're eating on them. So here's my opinion. In as much as this is risky or it might backfire, I would suggest or I would advise that you talk to your friend, you know, because this is also a form of loyalty to your friend, you know. But then again, it depends on how you bring the issue. All right, so don't get all judgy when you're trying to give this information, right? State it in a way that you're not, when you're stating this, ensure you state it in a way that it doesn't look like you've come to a conclusion. You can just notice as something that you noticed, right? So that your friend will take notes. And if it is something that is not as serious, that she's aware of, she might just calm your mind and say, yes, it's fine, she is aware. But eventually, it all boils down to your manner of approach and your choice of words when addressing this issue with your friend. But also have an open mind that it might backfire. So another step and approach that some people take is that they meet the cheating partner, you know, that partner that they think is cheating, and address the issue with the person before getting to meet their friend directly to tell them what they noticed. These two approaches can work, but then again, it depends on the person and it depends on the manner of approach, right? So when you think this through, since there is no specific scenario here, then there is nothing for us to work with. So we are just giving a general overview. So you're going to put the person you think is cheating into the picture, your friend as well, and your manner of approach and your choice of words. So when you consider all of this, it will give you a better view on how to approach the issue, right? So maybe going forward, when we are getting more questions or better questions, the questions will be specific and more direct, right? So if you also want to send some of your questions, asking some of these questions for your friend, don't worry, you're in a safe space. So you can just send your questions anonymously to the email below. So I'll be getting each and every one of your questions. I will also trace them in the video asking for a friend. So moving forward, the next question is it okay to snoop on your partner's phone or social media? I feel like this is a general question most times amongst partners in relationship and all that. For me, I feel like if you ever come to a point where you start asking yourself if it is okay to snoop or go through your partner's social media, then there is an issue, because there is no trust. And if there is no trust in any relationship, any friendship, any partnership, then I don't think that relationship is going to stand, right? Because if you trust your partner well enough, you shouldn't have the nudge to want to go through their social media or scroll through their phone or anything, right? That doesn't mean that you thinking that is wrong. It practically means that you don't trust them, or you feel like they are doing something shady that you want to know. That's what makes you nosy, right? But then again, I feel like why this happens most time is because the partner in question most time give you a reason to want to doubt them, either because they're acting shady, or maybe because they are being so secretive, or maybe because they are being so secretive with their phone and things like that. But generally, when it comes to relationship in marriage, remember, I am not a pro at this. I'm just giving my 1 cent. I feel like there should be transparency. You shouldn't give the other person the room for them to doubt you or suspect you, right? Like when you're transparent and honest with what you're doing, people won't have that nudge to want to not trust you or suspect you, because you're transparent and you're plain, right? So it's a two-way thing, right? So as partners in a relationship, ensure that there is transparency, right? Because you guys are now one. So I believe everything you're doing should be in unity and in sync. The other person should have access to your phone without you raising an eyebrow, right? And you should have nothing to hide, right? Make them trust you, make them feel like they are safe with you, either with your phone or whatever it is. The next question says, do you believe in the concept of dream jobs, or is that an unrealistic expectation? Because dream jobs can be unrealistic sometimes, because every job, I'm saying this with the idea that the job we're talking about here is like your 9 to 5, right? So every job has mundane tasks, if I'm being honest, like a boring repetition that we do every day, right? So expecting perfect happiness in this normal everyday 9 to 5 thing can be disappointing and unrealistic, if I'm being honest. So it's more about finding joy and happiness in what you do, things that can provide work-life balance to you, right? So you can't categorically state that something is a dream job when you are not sure of what is going to become in, like, let's say 5 years or 10 years. I don't know if that makes sense, but if you have other opinions, please drop it in the comment section. So moving on to the next question. So the next question is, what is the most overrated piece of career advice? Okay, I think for me, I have about 3 of this, but I'll give 2. The first one is follow your passion. Being honest, this sounds great, it sounds nice, but it can be problematic because most times your passion might not really be the viable career path for you. For me, the most realistic approach is follow your curiosity, because the world is changing, a lot of things are coming into play, and if your passion isn't in line with the change of time, so I don't think that should be a passion you should chase or follow, right? So you don't end up being left behind. Just be curious about everything and follow the curiosity, or you just align your passion with just being curious, so your passion will be everything or anything that is in trend. Just find a job that is in line with your skill and values, while it also allows you to pursue your passion by the side, because eventually, most times, passion alone does not bring food to your table. Passion alone most times might not even align with your skills and values, right? So another overrated piece of career advice for me is the customer is always right. For the longest time, I've asked myself, who brought up this line? This is the most damnedest line I've ever seen, because have you met some customers, have you met some clients? Some are so unruly behaved, some are so uncouth. There are some that you meet them, they'll ruin your mood, they'll transfer aggressions on you, their frustrations and all that. They end up hiding under the canopy of customer is always right, or the customer is the king. That is not true. That is not right. It is not meant to be, right? The fact that you're a client and you're a customer, you're patronizing me, doesn't mean that you should ruin my mood, doesn't mean that you should disrespect me, doesn't mean you should talk down on me, doesn't mean you should insult me, doesn't mean you should disregard me because you're quote unquote the king and you're always right? It doesn't make sense. I feel like those that are giving services or product to these clients should also be considered, right? Because eventually we are all humans and we have feelings. Because whether we like it or not, if we keep working with this kind of mindset and some clients and customers don't care, a lot of employees would end up being overlooked, underappreciated and overworked, and even embarrassed by demanding clients that have no emotional intelligence. So if I'm being honest, it undermines professional expertise, right? Because most of these clients, they don't even know the ethics of these jobs, right? So they just know the line that says customers and always right, and use that as a threshold to misbehave. For me, if I'm to suggest, I feel like the best line is just to find a fair resolutions for both parties. So moving on to the next question. The next question is it a red flag if a company expects you to be friends with your co-worker? I think I've heard this question quite so many times. I've discussed this question way back with some friends, and different people have different opinion about this stress. Generally, it's not a crime, it's not a bad thing. You can be friends with your colleague, you can be friends with your co-workers, right? If you find someone that you have same chemistry with, that you guys are compatible, that you guys have same values, same ethics, you're like-minded, that is fair, well and good. You can be friends, right? That's fine. But there is also this general saying that you shouldn't be friends with your co-workers, your colleague. Just go there, do your job, get paid, and go home to avoid embarrassment, disrespect, and crossing boundaries. There are people that are also of these opinions, right? just go with what sails your boat, because they are different people. So you can't actually use the experience of one bad colleague for another person that might be a good colleague, right? So you don't just cast people off or conclude on what people are based off of past experience. So I believe in giving people a benefit of the doubt. You never can tell. You can make a great friend from that your colleague or your co-worker. But then again, don't just go to a workplace with the expectations that you're trying to go there to make friends. First off, your main reason for being there is to work, right? So don't let the chase for friendship disrupt your work or your job of the day or what you are being paid to do. All right. So my clause in this question as well is this friendship thing in the workplace can sometimes be overstretched, and most people don't know where to draw the line, and it can end up blurring what they came to the company to do, right? It can become a red flag when you're ignoring the line that demarcates professionalism and your personal life, because eventually it is a workplace and there are ethics and rules that you have to follow. But then again, a friendly environment and workplace can also build and boost great work output, right? So it's not a one size fits all kind of thing. You just have to know the kind of people that you're working with to know if it is okay to be friends with them while still maintaining your professionalism and your work ethics without blurring the line of what you went there to do. So you just have to know all of this and have them in place before taking further actions. Since there are no basic scenarios here, assuming there are specific scenarios and examples, then it would have been easy to work with. This is like a general answer to this question. I don't know if that makes sense. So moving on to the next question: does a person's job define who they are? Well, not entirely, right? Like I said, even with the previous questions, these questions are not specific. The truth is, for many, jobs can become a major part of their identity if not well checked, because your workplace is where you spend the major part of your life, right? It's like a youngling or a teenager or a child growing up. The school is where they spend a major part of their life. So for an adult that is working, your workplace is where you spend a major part of your life. If you can do the maths, you will realize that it's a long time that you spend at your workplace. So doing this most times can influence a lot of things about you, your social circles, your skills, even your self-worth. Yeah, so the place you spend more time, the place that takes more of your attention, a place that takes majority of your time here on earth, can end up shaping you, right? So before even realizing what you're doing, it's becoming a major part of your identity, if that makes sense. So definitely that is why the kind of jobs you do, the kind of places you spend your time matter a lot, because one way or the other they end up influencing you. And another part of this is that your job is what you do, and there are some people that can differentiate or separate who they are from their jobs, right? There are people that can do this. It's not something that everyone does. It's not even something that a lot of people are aware of, but there are people that intentionally separate themselves from their jobs, right, without allowing their jobs play major impact on who they are. Eventually, if you look at it from a broader angle, a person's identity is defined by their character, their values, their hobbies, and relationship, and all of this exists outside of their professional lives, right? So there are some people that their jobs can eventually influence everything, especially if they don't have any other places that they go to, or if they don't have any other extracurricular activities. While for some, it doesn't entirely shape them or define who they are, because they have other things they are doing, right? So given the fact that there is no specific story or there is no specific example here, that is a general overview of this question. Okay, so this will be wrapping it up for this segment. This part of the video is going to be the part 1. End up having a part 2. If you want us to have a part 2, if you want more of this video, please drop it in the comment section so that I will know. And if you also want to send your questions on this segment, asking for a friend, please, you can send it to the email that I'll be dropping in the description box. Ensure you send your questions. I promise you I'm going to read them, and your names won't be mentioned if you don't want your names to be mentioned. Remember, it is a safe space where we learn, we unlearn, and we relearn. I myself am also learning. I read each and every one of your comments and I pick points from them. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't, and also check my other videos. So I'm going to see you on my next one, and until then, please do take care of yourself. Remember, my name is Luchi'sjournal and this is Luchi's Journal. So I'll see you on my next one. Toodles.